What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in to the channel. This is the final day, day 48 of the 48 days with the 48 laws. All 48 assume formlessness. You can pick up your copy in the link in the description below. The judgment for this chapter is by taking shape, by having a visible plan, you open yourself up to attack. Instead of taking a form for your enemy to grasp, keep yourself adaptable and on the move. Accept the fact that nothing is certain, no law is fixed. The best way to protect yourself is to be fluid and formless as water. Never bet on stability or let lasting order stay. Everything changes. So the first story was it was about Spartan and Greece. I mean, it's a little bit hard to kind of explain. He does have a great interpretation I will use at the end that I like, but I'd rather just use the Mao Zedong. So after World War II, the nationalists and the communists in China were battling over Manchuria around 45, 46. And Chiang Kai-shek, the leader of the nationalists, he sent his army to Manchuria, that's where the communists were, to attack. And basically they're trying to conquer Manchuria. Immediately, a lot of these battles, the communists leave after putting up a very little fight. This was very confusing for this was very confusing for the nationalist army, and they just took it as they're fighting a less experienced army, and they're also fighting a bunch of cowards. And really, the plan was to be formless. So what they would do is they would spread out to the nothingness of Manchuria. China's huge. So they would go into places where people really didn't think anybody would want to station. But if, for example, the nationalist army wanted to bring over another army to reinforce in Manchuria, they would surround them and attack them, destroy them. They broke the army up into little chunks, demoralizing the nationalist army. They would attack them when they weren't expecting it. When the nationalists wanted to attack, they would retreat deep and far. If the nationalists wanted to move, they would strike and attack the smaller moving army. If they had a city for a while and the nationalists came to attack it, they'd run away. And then while they ran away, they would have another army attack the army they left stationed in the other place that they sent the army to, and they broke them up. They demoralized the nationalist army. The commanders of the nationalists probably viewed it as funny, laughing like they're winning, but slowly they picked them apart through propaganda as even an attack to the nationalists, demoralizing them to eventually they had to leave Manchuria, and they couldn't really grasp what was happening. They had to leave because they were very solid. They studied, I know Chiang Kai-shek, he studied a lot of German philosophers, and basically what this did was it had him have a very solid view of the way that he should use his army. So using this strategy, they were able to win the whole war, and eventually, obviously, we know that China is communist, so they did win in the end. So basically, just to get into the keys to power, I mean, human nature, whether it's humans, whether it's animals, and I'll go to the Spartan and Athens story, but with humans or with animals, the animal with the shell that develops a shell to protect itself is usually the animal that is the most susceptible to predators, because they have a shell that slows them down. They've sacrificed speed and elusivity for protection. So if you think about a turtle is very easy to get attacked and stopped, especially if it's on land. And then it's just a waiting game how long it takes for you to break the shell. But ones that take to the sea and to the sky, that have all these different ways of dodging and moving and being elusive, they have a lot higher chance of adapting and surviving to the different circumstances, even to the situation where they can move and travel to far lengths that terrestrial animals just don't have that same ability. And then in the other area, if you think about art and music and things of that same in normal society for humans, in culture, I mean, things change, our fashions change. People that if you're trying to wear bell bottoms in the 80s, you would look like an idiot. I mean, you probably kind of look like one now. I mean, it's almost so far now that it's like you're bringing something new. But, you know, if you wore the baggy jeans of the 90s now, you would look out of style. So you need everything's more slim fit now, at least in the Western world, like in America. So moving and being elusive with the styles. It's usually the people that are rigid. So like a musician, when they first come up and they're young, generally they have that newness, and then they're able to break through, and then they become rigid and stick to a certain style, and that's when they like, we want the new guy. And they're like, boo, get off the stage because you're being too conservative now. You're not using that. You're not creating the new art that we appreciated in the beginning. So it's really about being elusive. And then we'll get into the water, like water. Bruce Lee has a great quote. I'm gonna paraphrase, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but he says, be like water, my friend. He's like, water can flow and it can crash. Even over long periods of times, it can even wear down rock, which is a symbol of rigidity and strength in a lot of cultures. It can weigh down rock. If you put it in a cup, it becomes the teacup. If you put it in a pot, it becomes the pot. It becomes whatever it needs to be. So be like water, my friend. And if you even think, you can't even grab water. I mean, you can cup it and hold it in your hands, but the harder you try to grasp, the more it slips through your fingers. Think about the oak tree. An oak tree, when there's a hurricane, the very stiff oak tree is the one that will break. The ones that are able to bend and mold and adapt to the prevailing winds are actually the ones that will be able to survive and thrive and live and survive through the times. So being very formless is a very important thing in life in general. And if you know anything about Robert Greene, this is a big theory that he has going on constantly, is that the formlessness, that whole idea of being able to adapt and being able to be adaptable to the times is really something important. He even at one point basically says that you're going to have to throw away laws of this book. He doesn't say this book, but of any book, because things change. So you have to be able to change and rearrange. And that is really the only constant in the world, is change. That's the only thing that you can count on, is things will change. And with that, I want to end this. I want to thank everybody that watched any of these videos, especially if you watched all of these videos. If you watched them all, you read the book, you picked up the copy, congratulations. You are above the average. You have surpassed by finishing a book. I'm very happy I finished this. It's the first time I revisit this book in about 4 years. To that, I want to give a toast to whoever joined me on this journey. I really appreciate it. I want to also mention that, 2017, I'm looking to really improve my style. I have a new camera. I want to start using that. Also, these book breakdowns. Now, this one didn't hit the same the way that I anticipated or wanted, but that's okay. It's all part of the course. It's all learning experience. And I hope to revisit book breakdowns. I want to do them in a bit of a different way. This daily posting way, I kind of fell off. So I apologize for being 2 days late with the conclusion and not consistent with daily posting them up. But 2017, I have great ideas coming up. I have a few more videos I want to get out before 2016 ends. So with that, I want to say, happy holidays to everybody. I know we're in the holiday times. Happy New Year's. I hope everybody has their goals. I hope that you hit yours. And in the end, this whole channel is dedicated to anything that can help design a life of intent and creating the lifestyle that you want. So hopefully that things are working for you, and hopefully this book added some kind of value. Once again, you can pick up your copy in the link in the description below. But with that, I want to leave you guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Anybody that's watching any bit, especially if you're watching to the end, listen to me kind of rant on this one. Hopefully we can connect in the future. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Devin Coates. Congratulations. Peace.